All right. Well, welcome back to another one. We're approaching Thanksgiving coming up this weekend. It'll already be a thing by the time our fellow American listeners have gotten to it, but 'tis the season, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're hosting Thanksgiving this year, so
Oh, you
that's going
poor
to be.
bastard.
And we
Well,
kind of put
luckily,
our.
grocery prices are the lowest they've been in
Yeah,
ages.
exactly. It's been great. uh, I we kind of put our foot down and said, "There's not going to be any turkey. Nobody here likes turkey. Most
No,
of everybody's coming does not like turkey, so there's not going to be a turkey." And
you're not American. What's wrong with you?
I
Turkey is
know.
you need it.
I tried to make that case, but I was outvoted. Even though I probably won't eat any and I don't enjoy it. Actually, my plan was to sneak out, the night before or the day before and head out to Milwaukee.
Oh, and bring back some of the deliciousness. Yeah.
Yes, Doc's turkey.
Mhm.
But that didn't seem viable in the long run.
It's probably not the most cost effective. It'd be like pound for pound, that'd be the most expensive Thanksgiving turkey, I think, on the
Yep.
planet.
Yep. Yep.
So
So,
you're at least going to do a big old ham, right?
oh yeah,
Okay.
big ham. Yep.
I can forgive you.
Yep.
I still
There
think it's
might be
sacrilegious not to have like at least a turkey breast in a bag that you've baked for 30 minutes. But
so there's talk of somebody maybe bringing a smoked
okay.
version of a turkey. So we'll see if
You,
that.
you know what I also like is like the trailer park version of like you ever buy those like turkey loaves where it's just like the conglomerated meat in a tin. It's like basically a big chicken nugget log, but with gravy.
Yeah,
It's the trashiest version of turkey, but I'm telling you, it's delicious.
I don't know if that puts me ahead, or if I can claim that as a turkey and be like, if that fulfills the quota, or if it
Right.
just makes it worse.
I don't. Yeah, that's true. That's like a toss up between that and like a Tyson's turkey dinner. Like, is it really turkey? It's all pressed meat, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I could see it. I mean, turkey's tough to cook and get good. Not everybody can be Doc's, and ham generally always comes out delicious.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, you doing spiral cut or you doing not?
I think we're just gonna do just regular cut.
Okay. Nice.
Yep,
You get to carve it.
yep.
You can get the heat lamp like you do at the buffet. You'll just like people come up with their plate and you'll just carve off a slice.
Yeah, that would be.
Well, nice. I mean, that's how many are you expecting then?
I don't know, 20 people maybe.
Oh my god. I don't feel
We'll
sorry
see.
for you at all.
Yeah,
That's gonna be a lot. But you got the mansion now to host
yeah.
everybody,
Well,
so.
yeah, yeah. But we don't need turkey. We're
Oh,
fine.
well, I mean, I fundamentally disagree with that. But I'm not showing up to your house, so that's fine.
Yeah. Well,
Okay. Next question, so I know if I can still be your friend or not. What is the best stuffing, traditional or stovetop?
just like the Stouffer's thing that you buy, the
Like
the one in the box.
stovetop, like instant.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
We can still get along. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
If you'd have thrown both of those to the curb, I would have had to just end this right
No,
now. But
no, no. There's definitely stuffing going to be happening.
okay, good. Yes. Yeah, people always make arguments for stovetop stuffing is not stuffing and the homemade stuff, and you put it in the bird. And I was like, no, it all tastes like shit. Like you
Yep,
say that, but it all tastes worse than just the stuff I buy from the box.
yep,
That's all I want.
yep. The stuff from the box is pretty much it's brown colored salt, I would say.
Yeah, with dehydrated chunks of onion. They
Yeah,
gotta
yeah,
class it up a little. Maybe some dehydrated chive. I'm not sure. It depends on the box.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just way better. And it takes 2 seconds to boil like
Mm-hmm.
half a cup of water and you throw it in, you're done. Easy
Yep,
peasy.
yep.
Yeah. Well, we are not hosting. We're just staying in town and be at my sister in law's. So it'll be easy for us. So don't have to travel, don't have to cook. Win win.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I took Friday off. So yeah. Yeah.
So you can go to all the stores, hit them up early.
Right. I'm not going to lie. I love that the pandemic reset values on Thanksgiving. I'm glad that all the deals have already like come and gone, and there's absolutely no reason to go to stores that morning
Hmm.
because everything's there. I've actually grabbed a couple things. I wasn't going to buy much. I found out Samba de Amigo for the Switch was $19.99 at Best Buy, so I bought that. And I'm contemplating pulling the trigger on Mario Strikers because that's down to 30, I think, at Best Buy.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I've already bought that or if I've already bought the tennis game. So I have to go through my pile of shame and figure out which one I own. So,
Well, you don't need it anyway, but
yeah. But yeah, it's like a very weird Black Friday because it's just like there's no big ticket items that are like really marked down. So,
yeah.
but it's good. I mean, a lot of stores have said they're not going to be open, which is great. Or if they are open, they're opening at normal-ish business hours, which
Yeah.
let everybody enjoy their holiday, damn it.
And the deals already are pretty much things that have been available at that
Yeah.
price already, right? So,
and consumers are understandably wary. You know, people just aren't apt to spend a bunch. So I don't think there was a reason for these stores to go much beyond just the basic of deals, like the obligatory $98 TV,
yeah.
$10 pairs of jeans, like just staples. Stick with what people might actually buy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, I could kick into a good story off of that because one of the Black Friday deals, well, they're touting it as a Black Friday deal, but really that PlayStation 5 Slim bundle came out on the 9th to kind of lead into Black There's a Spider-Man 2 version, but the one that launched day of was a Modern Warfare 3 version. Came with the digital code for the game. And my son had his birthday in between episodes here, and my daughter had gotten a cell phone. She got to the age where it just made sense for her to have a cell phone. So, kind of a big ticket item, cost me money every month, cost me some upfront to like register, turn online, all that stuff. So she got that a little bit ahead of her birthday. So it worked out that I grabbed that PlayStation 5 bundle when it came out on the 10th, about a week ahead of my son's birthday, which his birthday is actually today as of us recording this. Any guesses where he is going in the direction of this story? But got him the PS5, got the $50 controller because it was like Black Friday price already. He wanted the pink one. I had to go return it. Got a blue one. Who would have known? Anyway, it was like the best gift reveal ever because he was like holed up in his room doing God knows what. He's probably playing Switch with his friends, Fortnite or whatever. So I put the box in the corner and I threw like an Aldi bag over it or something. So we like yell for him to get out of his room. And usually like he's going to get news he doesn't like or he's done something wrong at that point. So he comes out, he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Clean that mess up." And I like point to the corner where I just like stacked the PlayStation and stuff. He's like, looked at me like kind of pissed off, like, "Why are you making me do this?" So he goes over and like grabs the bags off of it. And then like is just silent because we've told him forever he's not getting a PlayStation 5. Not going to happen. Dad's not interested. You don't need it. You can play on your Switch. And then he just like says nothing, like walks over and gives me a hug. And I'm hugging him, and then I realize like he is bawling. He is bawling. He's so excited. So I had to pretty much peel him off me, and he like makes it 2 feet over to my wife and is just bawling and hugging her for like another minute and a half. It was like the best gift giving. He was like so excited to have that thing finally.
Wow, that's
just
awesome.
in disbelief. So yeah, worth the $500. We pitched it as this is your, birthday and Christmas. I mean, I believe in buying my kids nice things once in a while, but it's a pretty high ticket item for a 10-year-old. In my opinion, people can disagree. Buy your kids whatever you want, I guess. But yeah, he's been loving it. And of course, all he's done with it is play Fortnite. So, and then, I gave it to him. I think that was like, we were planning that it was the family birthday party. So we were having everybody over that next day and hosting a birthday party for both kids because it kind of falls in between their actual birthdays. So we do one party, so it's easier for family. It's like I had to give that thing to him and then be like, it was a Friday. And it was like, we're not touching that until Sunday. Like, I don't want to deal with the frustrations.
Yep.
And he was good about it. And we did it. And then we got into it. And like, yeah, the experience was definitely not as good as diving into like the Xbox ecosystem where you just like punch in your thing. And I felt like it was supernatural, like pulled up like what I'd last played. It knew all my stuff. It just felt very dynamic. PlayStation 5, like it actually locked up in the updating process for me and I had to hard restart it. which is
Wow.
super
Yeah,
not
you're
a great
worried about.
feeling. Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to do that. And then when I did that, it jumped back into the process again. But then, obviously I'm gonna put my PlayStation account on there because I pay for the subscription service, so he might as well get all the games and play online. But to create a child account, like Jesus, like to register to the PS5, you like scan the damn QR code, go into their online thing. I had to register my deal. Then I had to create a family account. That's another QR code. Then I had to add two-factor authentication. Then I had to set up all the. It was such frustrating bullshit. I mean, it wasn't. I don't mean to make it seem like it was like horrendously difficult, but in comparison, it wasn't great. And it was like a good 2.5 hours of my day, especially because their system didn't kick out my automated authentication email for creating the child account on the family profile. So there's like a 30-minute delay. And I kept like 3 or 4 times I'm hitting the no, send again. I didn't get it thing. And then finally, when we're about to give up and I look at him, I was like, we're just going to have to stop. Like, I'm about to lose it. Then I got it. We got
Was
through
it
all
even
that.
good yet at that point? Like the link was even
surprisingly it did work. Then we got through that, and then 4 hours to download Fortnite because it's like 3,000 gigabytes. So then we got to repeat the whole goddamn headache again of, all right, now it's an Epic account, right? Like it knows this is a child profile with a certain age, so it knows it's restricted on the PlayStation Network. So it's like now we got to create like a parental governance thing for this. And I'm on it. I've only got 2 emails, right? In between, like, I think registering one of my other kids for Fall Guys and me actually having an Epic account, I'm on emails. So then I gotta get my wife involved. I got to get her to do the email thing so we can set the parental controls and the Epic account up under her. And why? Why? I should have. The easier thing would have just been to create an account where I lied about his age and still restricted it. But I shouldn't have to do that. Like it should just be a little more intuitive. But yeah, it's all done. I didn't actually lose my shit like I thought I was going to, and now everything's working appropriately. And I will say the parental controls and the way you can limit multiple aspects of a family account on the PlayStation is maybe almost better than what Nintendo has. Like, you can control spending limits and stuff and share funds through the wallet. It's kind of nice.
Huh.
But yeah, it seems like a good enough system. I installed some stuff that I got for free, like Sackboy and Battle for Bikini Bottom, that, sort of stuff. We've been playing through some of that. It's fine enough, but mostly it's just his new Fortnite machine, and he claims that now he's super competitive and in the top like ranked level, like because he just can compete so much better apparently on. I don't know. I played a couple games with him from his Switch, on my Switch with his old profile, just mostly kind of to troll with him. But then he started wanting to play with me, and like, oh my god, can I not play that game at all?
Does he do the build mode and all that?
Yeah, he does all that. I asked him not to do the build mode, but then he does crappy because his gameplay is built around playing with build mode, and I just whatever.
Yeah, the build mode from day one has always been like a I'm out moment. Like as soon as you saw that,
you watch these people and my son, and like my head doesn't compute fast enough to understand what you're doing, and they have complete control over it. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, the amount of just swirling around their stick just to build, it's just nuts.
Yeah, but PlayStation 5 controller, very cool. The haptic feedback's nice. The fact that you don't need a headset because it's built right in is cool. And the system is still very large for a slim, but it seems to be good. The interface is a little different from like your traditional home screen for the last couple consoles, but it's actually maybe better because it's just like a mini menu instead of the whole pulling you out. So yeah, I mean, I won't get much hands on with it, but he's super happy. So
yeah, that's awesome.
We now have a PS5 in the house.
Yeah, I'm almost there, but
yeah,
not quite.
After GameStop screwed you out of it.
Right. Yeah. There's no way I'm getting any deals off of that. So not going that route. But I mean, it's got Spider-Man 2. That's the main thing that
Right.
I'm kind of interested in. Do you have the like plus with the games and stuff on there now or not?
No, I just have the base tier, so I just get like the 2 or 3 free games a month. But
I think one of them is like Teardown, which like that one looks pretty good.
okay,
But
I'll have to look into that. I went through like my entire catalog, because so the nice thing is like I can download everything under my account and he can still play it because we're the family account. But like, I pulled over my library. It's like 500 some games. We went through like the entire thing, and he just said no to every game in there until finally I was like, no, here's the 5 that I think are best for you to install. I installed them, and he was pissed, but he's been playing some of them, so. That included Astro's Arcade. He got a kick out of. He played that well.
Oh yeah,
was downloading. So
yeah, that's cool. But yeah, why would he want to play old games?
right, would you just play the forever game? But that's old right now too. So what's the deal? He's playing OG Fortnite, not new Fortnite.
Yeah,
he's just counting down the days because they got that holiday reset coming up on December 2nd. It's the new hotness, I guess. So.
Yeah, this season on there doesn't seem like that interesting. But
I mean, it's cool to go back and see the original map. It's not the one I first played on because I wasn't there when season started, but it's drawn back. Like it's the most popular season they've had in like ages, which just
really
blows my mind.
Oh.
So I don't know.
Well, that tells you right there that their brand is bigger than all the other brands that they get in there, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, good for them. I mean, everybody's struggling, including them. So it's nice to have like a little bit of people are talking about us again. So
yeah.
Huh. How about you? Anything exciting happening?
I've been playing a lot of Minecraft again.
Still with the Minecraft custom server?
Yeah, custom. There's a installation you can do that's called All the Mods, and it's got like 400 mods or something in it.
And it runs?
It somehow runs, yeah, for the most part. I think there are like I've run across a couple things where they don't work together the way you expect them to, maybe, but yeah, the stuff in there is just crazy. It's pretty much just factory building, which is kind of a thing that I get into those games like big time. Like I'm designing my factory and then I finally optimize it the way it is and then be like, okay, I'm done with this game. It's like, well, what's
like factories for farming certain things or
right. Yeah. It's like basically like getting the wheat all the way down to,
your storage container. And
yeah. It's basically toast at the end or, something like that. And then, yeah, there's insane amount of stuff in here that I think there's like 300 pages of different recipes. It's just nuts. Haven't even scratched the surface basically, and I'm got a decent amount of hours in it to it now. But
okay.
But then you always have that feeling like, what am I doing? Like,
yeah, but I mean, there's genuine fun in there, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, everybody gets to that point where they play that a bunch again, and then you just completely forget about it forever, and then you're back in it. So
yeah,
I get it. There's still fun to be had. Are you playing with your kids too, or just solo?
Just solo right now.
Okay,
but yeah.
Yeah, speaking of like Minecraft sort of thing, like I've been thinking we should, because you have 7 Days to Die on PC, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking I really want to play that Darkness Falls mod.
So I what is that?
It's like so it's a guy who was an avid player, but he just like tried to like flesh it out a little more. So it's like one of the better mods, and he like really scales the progression on the front end to be way more difficult. So that it's a lot harder to get premium tier loot and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But they added like more story beats, like quest lines will lead you to different quest givers, and there's also different types of zombies and like demons and vehicles and all sorts of really cool shit. So you can get like super powered up. I've been watching Neebs Gaming play it for a long time, and I was just like, yeah, I should just get that installed and just like we should just jump in, because like even if I didn't do a dedicated server and we just like played like a night a week or whatever, and just
we'd get somewhere on it. Yeah,
it'd be fun. I like that game. It's a good bad game. like Minecraft. Well, Minecraft's a
Yep.
good game, but some of these
Well,
good
it depends on
yeah, that's
who you
true.
talk to, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I'm surprised you've continued with that.
Yeah, I don't know why. I keep thinking like, oh, I'm too busy to play Starfield yet. Here I am playing Minecraft, one of the biggest games, you know.
Right. Right. It's just easy to jump back into what you know, you know.
Yeah. And you know, after I saw a story today that that there is more active players on Steam playing Skyrim than Starfield now.
Well, I saw they got the
That's
full snub from the Game Awards too, not even
yeah,
like in any categories.
yeah.
It's pretty brutal.
Yeah, so maybe I don't know. Maybe I never do get back to that game. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, speaking of Xbox struggles, I was going to touch on this just because I walked into it, and I think we talked about. Maybe we didn't talk about it on the podcast, but Walmart a couple months back had acknowledged that they're just going to stop carrying physical Xbox games in store because they simply don't sell. Which, when you look at the sales numbers for the S versus the X, it's like, yeah, I get your logic. Why waste the store space? I was just going to tell everyone who's listening, at least in my area, that purge has begun. In the Walmarts in my area, or at least one of them for sure, every Xbox game is marked down. I would say it's light for now. It's like 15 to 20% depending on, but every one of those games has a yellow clearance sticker.
Really?
I
Wow.
expect that to only get cheaper because, you know, they're through the holidays, because their idea was like by 2024, we just don't carry these things anymore. So
I'm still surprised by that, but yeah.
yeah,
I get it. I don't know the last time I really bought a physical Xbox game.
right. Because
But
even if you have an X, you have Game Pass. So it's like there's no reason, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, for everyone out there, be aware. Start checking your WalMarts. They're starting to move them. So
Yeah. I mean, I'll just go to the one near me in a few years and they'll still be there because
because they don't follow protocol.
they well, they just stuff lasts there forever. Like I showed
yeah.
you, I bought those 2 amiibos from.
Dude, that Epic Yarn amiibo's got to be worth some cash, right?
Yeah.
Like what does that go for? Like 40, 50?
Yeah, it's like I think it was around 40. This one the card was kind of messed up on it, of
But
course, because
still.
it's that. But
yeah, I was so shocked. I mean, the Animal Crossing one I get because nobody bought those, but like,
yeah,
why they had to have sat like behind something on a shelf for ages.
yeah.
It was pretty wild to see. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes like the stuff that you find at a random Walmart and you're just like, this sat somewhere for 10 years.
Yeah. It had to have been
Didn't
in
sell.
like the back shop or something.
Yeah.
The back storage.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm talking about games marking down, but you're telling me there's another crash. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, so I did see a YouTube video that this guy really went through heritage auctions.
Yeah.
On these water graded games, and the people that were spending the money, the people that were theoretically spending the money on these, who knows if they actually did?
Right.
We'll never know that probably, but yeah, some of these are like 90% below what they were selling for like in 2020.
Really?
Just nuts.
Surprising to no one.
Right. I think that one of the Mario 64s that sold over for like $1 million or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sold for 30,000 or something like that.
And that's stupid, but I get that more than I get $1 million.
Yeah.
Huh.
So yeah,
what are these people going to do? They're stuck, right? Like some of these people invested like all their time and energy into stockpiling like shelves of these things.
Yep. Yeah,
just sit on it forever and hope it comes back.
I don't know. I mean, so Heritage is selling the other one now too. Is it CCG or CGA or something? The other grading company. So that at least they're like not doing that one-sided market deal. But at the same time, it feels like that's kind of maybe when all of this started breaking down.
Right.
Surprise, surprise.
I mean, the fact that it didn't just immediately drop after like those very well put together like videos came out explaining exactly how this was fraud.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, and this video was the same from the same guy.
Oh, it was okay.
Yeah, so following up on that, and yeah, it's I don't know if people are actually still spending money on that or if they're just ditching.
I was gonna say this is bad news for Nintendo Hodge. I don't know if you saw, but he was just at Portland and uploaded a video because he got into the graded games market and got 3 of his games graded. So, I mean, he didn't buy them for graded prices, but
yeah, I mean, if you're getting them graded or whatever that you already own, maybe that's not that big of a deal because you probably are going to get your grading fee back out of it. But
and if it's something like that's truly collectible to you and you never have the intention of playing it, I mean,
yeah,
sure, it's nice just for a protective case.
Yeah, the cases are nice. Yeah.
Which, speaking of them, I got a bone to pick with R3 podcast because they didn't put out a podcast for like 4 months at the beginning part of this year. Then they did one. I looked in July was their last one, and they said when they were live streaming that they were going to get back to regular recording. It's been since July. R3 podcast.
Get on it.
What the hell? Ah, slackers over there. I blame the legal weed in Canada. They just, all their time recreationally is just flown by and they don't even realize it. Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like you made a good point in that I think a lot of the key players in those big purchases, it was all, within that enclosed group and that ecosystem. That money didn't really ever.
It was not even changing hands, right?
I mean, there's the people below them that definitely got fleeced, and people definitely got screwed, but not the people who were doing the ridiculous stuff, which is freaking bullcrap.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people left holding the bag, I'm sure, on a lot of these games, but
yeah,
it's still even what they're selling for now is still surprising to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a wild market. Like that's just not the average collector's world by any means.
No.
And who's doing it in this economy? Come on. Well, if we're talking YouTube drama,
this is the same guy that did this video too.
Is it? Yeah. Have you seen? Oh yeah, you're right. It is. Yes. So the Completionist, you're aware then that it's gotten a little out of hand because some media outlets have like taken it and they're like, he stole the money. It's like, well, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. But anyone who is familiar with like the gaming scene on YouTube, you're probably aware of Gerard Khalil, the Completionist. He's the guy who's had a channel for like, I don't know, 10 years. Completing games, making quality content. He's one of the better guys out there. He was like one of the more positive, wholesome people he's been associated with Normal Boots, which has had its own ups and downs. But generally regarded as a decent guy. Seems nice. I've met him at cons. He seems all right. What happened is like his origin story a little bit is he lost his mom to dementia at a younger age or, early adulthood. And I started a charity to donate money to dementia research. And he does annual fundraising through the Completionist channel and live streams and various events and stuff. And they've raised a good amount of money. And he's always like expressed that it's going to dementia research, called out a couple of places that it goes. Well, somebody tipped a couple of YouTubers off who do these investigative type things. And they just looked at the tax filings because it's a nonprofit. So those things are just there, right? Like you have to disclose them. And it turns out that the money has never been donated, at least over the last 10 years when they've been incorporated as a nonprofit, which is not good. But it also doesn't have to be like overly damning because it also shows that the money is still there, or at least on the paperwork. It doesn't show the bank account, but why you would falsify that on tax documents, I don't know. But basically they've been sitting on the money all these years. I mean, So have they stolen money? Maybe not technically. Have years been lost that could have been used for fruitful research with the aid of this money? Certainly. Has the value of this money gone down due to inflation? Certainly. There's something to be said about getting it into the hands of the people when it's worth the most, which is the time that you get it. Almost every time. So that's where we're at. And this happened. We're a little over a week. And so it's mostly the tax documents. They didn't accuse him of taking any of the money for himself. They actually got him on a phone call, which is surprising. Probably before he lawyered up, because I don't know why you would say anything to possibly incriminate yourself. To which he said he wasn't aware of the money not being moved until last year, at which point he's been trying to make it happen. But regardless, it's not a great look for what I would consider as a great YouTuber. Like, he really does do great content, but it's a bad position. The silence is pretty bad. I would imagine, again, probably because they've lawyered up in the past few days, but it's really weird to not have a response in a situation like this in the amount of time that's passed.
Yeah. Because, I mean, at best case, they're just neglectful and they just haven't done it, right?
Right.
But there's also nothing to say. There's nothing pointing that they're doing anything nefariously illegal or anything either. But
right.
Yeah, to me, it just seems like it was something like he wanted to do and had a great idea to do,
right,
but didn't want to run it, or didn't want to do the work for it.
And there was like a follow-up video, I think, that came out today or yesterday, where the guy was like breaking down like the origination paperwork and like, well, here's the position of all the people on the nonprofit. It's like 4 people, right? And it's like, when it says that his role is this, and I'm like, yeah, but it's a small nonprofit. Like, to be honest, they did that to organize it for the purposes of tax reporting, and he probably
they probably don't even do meetings. They probably just
and that doesn't make it better by any means. But no. I could see how Gerard would be ignorant to that fact, as hard as that may be. But yeah, it's just kind of crappy because it's going to have a negative effect on his livelihood, which is his YouTube. When as you said, if best cases is a negligence thing, like, it could have just been handled so much better. I think, I think it goes back to like, the rule to always follow, like when you're a person donating to an organization, like in most cases, if you're going to donate to a charity drive or something, but you have something specifically in mind that you want to support, it's just best to donate to the organization instead of the middleman. Like these sort of things are like United Way or even, the big gaming one, I mean, those are all things that go to pots. Like, you don't control where your funds actually go or who gets them. Like, they all intend well, but the only way you really know that you're benefiting the cause is to get it to the people doing the research, the organizations themselves. So,
yeah. And many times that the total pot that they get count as their total donation, and they can use that as their tax write-off at the end of the year. So they're using your money on their taxes to get a rebate.
Yeah, that's true. And so like my thing with this whole deal is that even if we assume like the best case, it was just negligence, and hopefully it doesn't get them in any legal trouble, it could. Even if they do the right thing now and they do donate it to the charities they said they were going to donate it to, it's still going to look like they were just trying to save face. They're never going to be able to.
Yeah.
There's no walking away from this cleanly. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think all everyone wants to see is just that the money that they donated goes to a good cause. That's it. But at the same time, would you donate to them again? No, of course you wouldn't. Are you going to support his channel? Well, maybe not. Like, maybe that rubs you the wrong way. I don't know. It's just not, there's no saving it.
No, if they never do, then that's a big problem. Like
Yeah, people
if
need to go to
this
jail
comes
for that. Yes.
if this comes out and the money still doesn't get there, then that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bad situation. I was even looking today to see if I don't even think they've done any like regular content uploads to the channel since this has happened,
Wow. Huh.
which is weird. So I guess we'll see how it all shakes out. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I think there's a lot of even the benefit of the doubt still isn't a great thing.
Yeah. Still not the worst thing that a normal Boots personality has done.
As long as I don't get a Gerard photo in a Sailor Moon outfit, I'm okay. But
All
yeah,
right.
talk about a group of people who every one of them, Bro Jared, JonTron. Have the Continue guys ever pissed anybody off? I don't think they have. Maybe.
I don't think so. They just keep doing their thing.
I guess Peanut Butter Gamer was pretty clean too. His biggest offense was defending Pro Jared. So yeah, it's a rough group to hang with, man.
Yeah, they all rebounded pretty much.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes. What about Coral Island?
Oh, so that was a Xbox Game Pass game. It's a Stardew Valley ripoff, basically.
Oh yes, I saw this. Okay.
My wife just started it this evening,
and she's still playing it now as we speak. Hour
well,
5.
this was an early access game, and it's been on PC for a long time. I think on Xbox for a while too. But when it went 1.0 was when it came onto Game Pass. So you would think that would be a release game at that point.
Right.
Watching her play it, it is certainly not something I would call a release game.
How hard can it be to polish a farm sim game?
It's unbelievable how many times it stutters for like a good second, and then you jump ahead to where it would have been. There's no music, like the music goes in and out, the sound effects are like all over the place. It's like basic stuff is just not there, and it's amazing that they said, yep, we're going on Game Pass. Version 1.1 or 1.0 is out, and yeah.
I think they got a payday for that, so they're just like, we'll go for it.
Yeah, that's what I wonder, if they're just like, well, we already got paid for
the PC development, and
yeah. Because from what I've heard, the PC one's just fine, and even PS5 doesn't have these problems. So
really, yeah, it's not. You'd want to show your best foot, you'd think, to like a built-in audience who's willing to grab your game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Stardew Valley has been. You get people get their foot in the door on a good note, and then they're with you for years, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a big mistake. I don't know if she'll keep playing it or not, but we'll see.
Well, at this point, you might as well just hold out for that Stardew, like 2 or
the chocolate one. Yeah.
Because it's at least announced, so it can't be that far out.
Yeah.
Huh.
She still does the Disney thing too, but that's more of like animal. Yeah, that's more of like an Animal Crossing thing where you just check in and do your little thing here and there at this point. So
gotcha. Yeah. Man, I've been looking at Game Pass for this month. This is not a great month for like new additions. Like a lot of stuff went away. Like we really need to get to the Activision Blizzard stuff pretty quick. Because it's been kind of not great.
Yeah, I can't remember the last one that I actually played a lot of.
Yeah, I haven't picked it up in forever. I need to get back into Grounded. I know my son wants to dive back into that.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw they added like a free build mode into that, which would be kind of cool. But we'll have to see.
They used to get like pretty good big third-party stuff on there, and they get some EA stuff because they have that EA Play stuff in there too, but of course their own stuff. But beyond that, it's just basically small games.
Yeah, well, I was like thinking about that too, but then it's like, God, what has been big third party in the last 18 months?
Yeah,
and it's just like almost nothing really,
Yeah,
Like there's been some big exclusives for consoles, but that doesn't help us out on Game Pass. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's interesting. It'll get better next year. It's got to. So I don't know. You want to get into staff picks?
Yeah, let's go for it.
I'm curious on yours, like if this is a new purchase and you've got like a wing in your house, but
I so I my recommendations is maybe not so much a recommendation that we went to a local arcade for my son's birthday party, and it was full of these coin pusher games now, which back in when I was young and you would go to the fair, they always had these booths of these coin push games.
yeah.
And that was my favorite thing because it's basically gambling for kids.
Oh, it's 100% gambling. They were outlawed in a lot of places.
So these new ones, they look like the same thing, but they're not. They're trying to trick you to think that you have complete control over when these coins are going to fall, when they're going to push, how they're going to push, how many you're going to get. I think the computer in them is kind of randomized a little bit. You don't have complete control of when they're going to fall. A lot of times it's almost like a Plinko thing. It goes down like a Plinko chute, so you have no real control of how coins land on the pusher. And then when you do get them in, the coins, I'm not sure the conversion rate. I think they count as a ticket if you get one coin down.
It sounds right, yeah.
I think. Then there's like big bouncy balls, which you would think that, oh, I get a bouncy ball, but no, that just falls down and does something too. I don't know if that's 5 tickets or who knows.
And some of them have cards on top when you can
Yep.
turn the cards in for more tickets or get certain sets and get like bonus tickets. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's still got the same addictiveness to it. It just doesn't have the same payout. It's like it's just a shittier inflation of this type of game.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because the ones we used to play at like state fairs or carnivals or county fairs, it was like actual quarters back. Like
Yeah, you'd get
you'd win cash, right?
well,
I
I
can't
think the one
remember.
that I think the one that I did, you had to pay and they gave you tokens.
I feel like, and I'm a few years older, but I swear I remember some that were straight
They were just quarters.
quarter pushers. Yeah. Like
That would be
just
pretty
straight
awesome.
gambling.
Yeah, yep. Every once in a while you might get like a weed keychain or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. It's classy. Yeah. So you guys, did your son enjoy him at least, or
No, he had no. He thought it was the dumbest thing ever. He didn't understand why I was still playing him. I don't know.
so you're the only sucker left, and you're now recommending that we all fall down this trap with you.
Mm-hmm. And I had a feeling where I feel like some of our parents get to, where it's like, oh, the VCR is blinking and I don't know what to do. What I felt like that a little bit with this thing because I'm looking and there's like lights blinking everywhere and it's telling me all this different stuff and I don't know what any of it means. I was just putting quarters in. So maybe it is like gambling, like at the casino.
Yeah.
Those people don't know what's going on. They're just pressing the button.
They don't know the rules. That's how they want it too. So it's funny. I'm surprised they had that at the Pizza Ranch. But
yep. Yeah, I played. I thought I did pretty well, and I got 6 tickets. So it's not a good. It's not a good even machine for that.
My son loves those. There's 4 or 2, I forget, at Kingpins that are a Marvel's Avengers one. And that one you actually do get some amount of control, but like he's pretty good at that game. Like
I think that's
collects the cards and everything.
Yeah, I did play that one. That's the one where you have to shoot them through the hoops, right? When they spin around.
And there is like some actual timing to that. Like they try and screw with you, but you have a fair amount of accuracy.
Yeah, I think that was the best one. They have like 3 different ones at this Pizza Ranch, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, that was the one.
Yeah, that's our family's go-to. It's crazy that those things still exist, though. Yeah, it is wild that coin pushers still need to be a thing in arcades these days.
Yep. I couldn't really tell if they have the things on the side because like the old ones, they put all the weight in the front, so all the coins would push off the sides, and you would never get them.
Yep.
I don't know if that's the case on these. It
Yeah,
seems
it
like
just
maybe
seems
they
like
do just push them, but
I feel like they've got like a really good idea of how to like do the spacing on like the tiers though, because I swear like on some of the newer ones where they're like really all about just pushing the coin forward, like I swear some of them like almost go under the lip a little bit at the end, so you don't
oh
ever get
yeah,
like a full push. You get like a half of a coin push.
yep, yep.
Bull crap. Bull crap.
Yeah, you never get that good feeling where you get that perfect lineup one where it's almost like
Right.
a full quarter push that just like pushes the whole thing.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Yep. Coin pushers are cool, but
And addictive.
yep. That's what I'm going to put in my house. I'm going to make one.
I like it. It's a good idea. It's an arcade just of coin pushers. Yeah, my staff pick, I'm going to do the Tosh show. So if anyone is familiar with Daniel Tosh, he is a comedian who had a show on Comedy Central forever, Tosh.0, where they kind of did like web clips and stuff. I think they renewed him for 5 more seasons and then canceled them after 1 because, you know, Comedy Central did that whole restructuring thing, and now I don't think they have any original content anymore, pretty much, because South Park's on Paramount. And but anyway, so he's been off TV for, I don't know, 3 years maybe. But it sounds like he's working with iHeartRadio now, and this came up in my feed on YouTube. It's the Tosh Show, deceptively similar to Tosh.0, and it's basically just a podcast. And he interviews guests, but he specifically has stated he doesn't want to do celebrities. He also does like a little pre-show and post-show thing where they will show a clip and talk about it, or will do a skit. They've only had 2 episodes. I recommend, like, you have to like his sense of humor, which is like very sarcastic and self-deprecating to everyone involved. But his first episode was great. He came out with a banger. His first guest was his wife's gynecologist, which I thought was amazing. So he's got like this clip of like, "Hey honey, do you mind if I have your gynecologist on the show?" She's like, "Or can I have your gynecologist on the show?" She's like, "No." And then of course he like segues to here's, and the gynecologist was a man and he's gay. So Tosh was having like all sorts of fun with that.
Oh wow, yeah.
He's like, "Is it true that all women can squirt?" And he's like, "I think I'm the wrong person to ask." And he's like, "Yeah, our producer Paul's wife also goes to you. Whose vagina is nicer, his wife's or mine?" It was just like the best interview. And then the second episode went up, I think today. His guest was a double amputee track athlete, black guy. So like great interview again, like somebody you wouldn't really know about. And he's like, some of his questions are just killer. He's like, "Whoa, what was harder growing up, not having legs or being black in America?" And then the guy made fun of him. He made fun of Daniel. He's like, I can tell by the sweater you're wearing and those glasses that I could kick your ass in a race. So then he's like, "Fine, anytime, anywhere." So then that's what he tells Tosh. So then at the end of the episode, Tosh is like, he accepted. He said anytime, anywhere. So they cut to them, and Tosh takes him to the beach for a 50-yard dash. And then just obliterates him, because if you've seen those like amputee sprinting legs, they're basically like spoons. There's no way you're running in sand.
Yep.
And then as a parting gift, gives him a skateboard.
God.
It's just so funny. Like, I don't know. They're not like super long podcasts or episodes, like 40 minutes or whatever, but both of them have just been great. I've been dying laughing. So
I mean, I fell off his show on Comedy Central because it was like it was on forever, you know.
Yeah. It became like ridiculousness pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of fell off of it, and then I just assumed at some point he got canceled, or Me Too'd or something like that.
Yes. If anybody should, it's him.
Yeah, he's definitely got that. Like, he walks that line almost on a daily basis, I would say, on the comedy that he does.
Yep.
So, yeah, I kind of figured that's somewhere along the line. TV executive did not like what he was saying, and
yeah, he's problematic for TV at this point. I'm sure.
Yeah, but yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, if you like that stuff, it's on YouTube. It's just Tosh Show. I don't know, it's worth a look. You'll laugh.
That's cool. That's cool that it's not just celebrities and like fellow comedians and stuff like
Right,
that, you
because
know?
how many of those do we have? I feel like that's the problem in the comedian podcasting world is just like the same 10 guys going on each other's podcasts over and over and over
Hmm.
again. You hear the same stories, you know what I mean? It's just not worth it.
Yeah. It's about what they're doing for stand up on the road and all. Yeah. All that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not great. But I guess that gets us to the weekend rental,
Hmm.
which, if you're not familiar, we play a game for a given console and we give our opinions as to whether we would personally buy, rent, or burn the game after we're all done. The system we picked this go around is the Super Nintendo or the Super Famicom, I guess to be more accurate. We played Psycho Dream, which has come to Switch Online. And yeah, I don't know. It's a side-scrolling beat 'em up slash almost feels like shooter.
Kind
Like
of.
some
I
of the
think
progression.
it's got the pace of like a Castlevania a little bit.
Sure.
But yeah, the weapons start turning into like shooter power ups a little
Yeah,
bit.
it seems to abide by the shooter rule of if you can't achieve max form and keep it, you might as well start all over.
Yeah.
And you find that out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Stars scantily clad women. Well, at least the one I played with. I played with Maria.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah. I
Rhino.
wish I would have. I went in after my playthrough with the guy for a little
Okay.
bit, and with the woman I could see why it did not come out in America a little bit
Yeah,
because
she's basically in lingerie.
yeah, there's a spin move she does where it's like, yep,
Every attack
it's
involves
just
her flashing her ass to you. Yes.
yep.
It's not unpleasant. Gets a little weird when she has pixie wings, but
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, you're right in the Castlevania sense though that it does have like the enemy patterns of like shit's just going to continue to spawn at you. So you just need to keep moving and dealing with it. Otherwise,
Yep.
you're creating a problem for yourself.
Yep.
Instead of floor turkey, we have like floor gems. And that was the one thing I never really quite figured out. Like I know some of like the colors did certain things, but there were certain color patterns like blue and purple that I really never understood what those did.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what the blue one kind of made it at least when I got it was just like a weak laser in one direction, which was kind of
Yeah.
didn't really help anything.
Yeah.
And then yeah, purple. I don't know what purple did.
Yeah. And I think my favorite part about this game is like they call everything a stage. So then at the end of every level, track, that's right.
Yep.
It's like track 1 clear, and then it's like a little Japanese lady or Chinese lady sitting on a beach for some reason, and it's that same still screenshot every stage you progress, but the track number goes up by 1. It's really odd.
Yeah, and then some stages have less chapters in them.
Right.
Yeah,
and there's there's varying things. You're not just going left and right. Sometimes there's verticality. There's like an auto forced run level that's really frustrating as fuck. That is very much if you didn't come into this full powered. Just
yeah, I don't know how you would do that one with just a
good
normal attack.
And then like there's a lot of weird like women being captured and held prisoner sort of stuff that happens. But then there's also like sky fish and sky octopus. Like it's a very bizarre game from a cohesion standpoint.
But the level setting is the most plain. Like now you're in an apartment. Now you're in the subway. Now you're
on a bridge. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Like just
bonkers characters in like normal ass backgrounds.
And all of this is prefaced by like one paragraph of Japanese that I had no idea what it said, but that was the only thing that set up this entire game.
It has a very Genesis feel to it too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like the design, the characters, the sound almost. I mean, you can't replicate the Genesis sound, but like it feels like a game I should be playing on the Genesis and not my Super Nintendo.
Yeah, it's developed by the same people that did all the Valis games, which really It really feels kind of like a Valis game.
Yeah.
Um, the type of attacks, all the UI especially is very, very much like a Valis game. So yeah, I think it's kind of just an offshoot of that.
How far did you get?
I beat it
Oh, you
with the
did.
one guy. Yep,
How many stages?
6.
Shit. Okay, I gave up on 5 because I could not figure out how to take down that like 3-storied robot dick, and I got sick of trying.
Oh, that's the last guy.
Oh, he is the last guy. So if I'd have beaten that, I'd
Yep.
have won.
Yep.
What's the strategy there? Do you have to destroy each hand?
Yep, each hand, and then the head comes off and starts chasing after you, and you have to just hit the head.
I was so close then. Damn it.
And then a naked girl comes out of the middle of the robot,
I saw the naked girl in the bubble.
instantly gets all her clothes back, hugs you, and that's pretty much the end. So
Do they show like naked body parts and stuff?
no, it's from the side, tastefully.
Tastefully. Silhouette of her breasts. Okay, well I got really close then. I could not figure out the timing on that, and I went into that fight one hit from losing my like OP stuff. So once
Yeah,
I got
which
hit,
that's
it was like over. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I never did it.
There was I think I went through I would get hit and then go back to the base level again. I did that maybe 3 times. And then
Your
I think I
power-ups?
was at the end where I was losing it on the I would lose it on the boss battle.
Yeah.
But that was where I was like, I'm just going to cheese this because there's no way I'm going to beat this without this.
Yeah.
The difference between the attacks from the very first when you start to fully powered up is probably the biggest swing I've ever seen in a video game because it makes it almost a cakewalk.
Yeah.
If you can just keep moving and blasting lasers everywhere.
Right. Yeah. So for context for listeners, like basically your standard power, even basic enemies can take 2 hits. But when you're fully powered up and transformed, basically you just evolve. You are basically shooting like auto targeting spheres in 6 directions or
That's
variations. And it just, so as long as you're spamming and somewhat aware of your surroundings, you're pretty much golden.
Yep. Yeah, if anything, the only thing that you might get hit on is just something that you weren't aware of.
Right.
You know, and that's I think probably my biggest thing with this game where I beat it in almost an hour.
Yeah, I was gonna say it can't be more than an hour and 20 minutes.
And the parts that I did lose the power-ups were on like, oh, the subway came by and it had a bunch of monsters on it and jumped off. I wouldn't have known that is supposed to happen.
Can we talk about that subway section too, where you get to it, where all of a sudden like 4 fetuses jump out of bubbles and then their heads explode off at you? Like, what the fuck? Who programmed that?
It's a psycho dream. That's what's going on in that.
I would say like the biggest downfall of this game is just like the fact that its gameplay is so derivative of just like constantly mash that thing. And then it chooses on so many levels. I'd say there's like 3 distinct ones that pop out in my mind where they just arbitrarily make navigating the stage different. Like navigating through the roadblocks they put in the stage is the goal of that stage for you, which is bad game design.
Yeah.
Because all it does is like cause you to slow down, get out of the way of these like never ending like spawning enemies. And it's not fun. It's lengthening the game for the sake of lengthening it, but it doesn't make the game any better.
You're talking about the one that first started off as we are completely ripping off Life Force.
Yes.
As a level.
I would also say the minecart one where you have to like traverse is also bullshit.
Yep. The boulders falling down. Yep.
Yeah, because they make every critical jump there blocked by 2 enemies. So there's no way to not take damage almost to progress. And then like the verticality in that Minecraft or that minecart section, like you have to jump up above certain things to unlock the like, I don't know, like it doesn't like auto scroll the way it should unless you do these weird moves. And
yep.
But yeah,
that's also where that's it's straight up a ripoff of
You're right, it is 100%. It even has like the hook things that come up.
Yep.
Now you
It's got
mentioned
the
that.
fire. It's got the fire loops that come in the other levels. It's got
Yeah. Yeah,
the
100%.
sections that you have to shoot to keep clearing so you can keep moving.
I didn't even
Yeah,
think
it's
about that, but you were so right. So right. Huh. Yeah, well, it sounds
it's
like so then it sounds like choosing a different character didn't really change our gameplay experience as much. It's just what you're looking at.
not too much. Like you said, the once you get your fairy wings on the girl, then you have a homing attack.
Yeah.
On the guy, it's more of a just like screen full of lasers that bounce around.
Okay. And he gets wings too to fly or something else?
No,
He doesn't
no,
fly. Okay.
no, he doesn't really fly. But unless I missed a other thing, she doesn't. He doesn't float like the girl does.
Okay.
But still, even with with like the screen full of lasers, which obviously there's some massive slowdown in this game in some areas, but
Yes. Yes.
you still can't. Like none of them reach straight up, which is just a huge problem in this game. Like if you're not able to really attack very well straight up, you still
Well,
have like a sword that goes kind of above you, but
yeah. And that's another interesting critical point that you bring up is that not only is that a problem, but there's tons of enemies that also require you to take a knee, like which is
oh yeah,
never a
yeah.
good game design. You should never
No,
have to squat
no.
to destroy an object or to kill an enemy, but they do it heavily.
Yeah, that's yeah, yeah. There's a lot of issues with this game, and I don't. I feel like it's bits and pieces of a different game almost,
Yeah, and the
all
parts
squished
that
into one.
aren't feel very derivative of like others in similar genres.
Yeah. When you do get fully powered up, it feels awesome for a little while, and then you find out you're just spamming that button as you're walk. It's a walking simulator after that.
Yeah, I found myself contemplating getting one of my other controllers for my Switch so that I could program Turbo. And I was
Yeah.
like, this would be so much better if I could just do that. Because at the end of the day, yeah, it's all it becomes is like how fast can I press this button, not
Yeah.
what am I doing in the game. Because there's like we talked a little bit about there's some key areas where traversal and jumping is important, but largely the game is walk to the right, spam that attack button, rinse and repeat.
Yeah. I was halfway through the game until I found out the run button.
The shoulder, yes.
Yes. I didn't
Terrible
think about
placement
that,
for a run
but
button.
yeah.
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 I found that pretty early on because I was like, this can't be the fastest I can go in this game.
Yeah.
So I just started pressing everything, which at one point that screwed me and kicked me out of a game. I was like mid level and I pull up the like sub menu and hit just like auto exit. I was like, son of a bitch.
No.
But yeah, it's interesting, but you can see why there wasn't really much of a need to try to localize this.
The surprising thing is there's nothing really to localize either.
Well, I could see some of the stuff like the fetus baby things.
Yeah,
the
they would have to change.
women
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I just don't think it's worth the sprite swaps even for them to do it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have
Yeah.
sold.
No.
But with that said, I guess we might as well give our Byron burn. What would you do on Psycho Dream?
I think there's some interesting things with it. You do feel pretty good once you get fully powered up. But also that first level is a lot of bullshit too, where it's just throwing stuff on you and just getting hit. It was really weird to throw that on a player right away to be like, here's a bunch of junk that's going to hit you no matter what you do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to be a burn for me just because I think there's a lot better experiences out there than this. I think if you play the first like 15 minutes of this, I think you'll get a pretty decent amount out of this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you stop at 15 minutes, you're missing on some of like the highlights, which is like some of the wackier scenes you walk into and like the girls being in bubbles and stuff. But yeah, I kind of agree. I think there's nothing here that another game in a similar genre hasn't done better. There's not a lot of depth to the gameplay. It's very cheap, as you pointed out right from the get go. I'm gonna give it a rent though. I mean, I've played worse stuff for sure.
Yeah.
I would be okay with this as a rental. I mean, it would be a very short weekend because I would have gotten through it in both characters in like 3 hours. But
And the levels are the same, so it's nothing
That's
different, you know?
disappointing. Probably a different end screen, right? But we can't read that either way. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm glad I played through it for the most part. I guess I was a little mad that was the last boss and I couldn't do it, but I guess I have my save file to go back to. We'll see.
Yeah. It's, if you want some probably underage schoolgirl nudity,
Yeah, I mean,
you're right there for it.
I probably would have enjoyed it. Thinking back, like middle school me, at how much I enjoyed like the female characters and like baseball 2000 or whatever that Base Wars ripoff thing was. Like that got me
Yep.
all giddy. So this definitely would've
Yeah, this would have. Yeah.
been, I'm getting away with naughty things.
Yeah. I wonder, so I feel like in the past I've heard that like, oh, this is one of those underground hidden gems that never made it over here. And
Yeah.
I just feel like it doesn't seem like there was anything there that was like, wow, blew me away. I can't believe this came over here.
And something, exactly. And some I'm just thinking about now that we didn't even talk about was like, how forgettable is the sound design?
Oh,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm
it's
thinking
awful.
back to this game. I just played this afternoon, and I can't think of a single tune. I can't think of
No.
a single sound effect. It's all just generic as shit.
I can't wait to find a soundtrack song for this episode. For
You can
this,
slice
it's
it
not
in
going to be awful.
right now. Yeah. It's a weird one. But I mean, it's another nice inclusion on the Nintendo Switch Online, I guess. So.
Yeah. Something you don't get to experience.
Right.
And they're open to bring it out even now, even with fairy thongs and everything. So,
Gotta keep it in there. I mean, if we're bringing crucifixes back in Devil World,
yeah,
as well have
it's
fairy
true.
thongs.
Yep, they're just cleaning all their skeletons out their closet on that Nintendo Switch Online. Aren't they?
Clean start for the next Switch 2 or whatever. The Switch Quattro or whatever the patents are. Yeah. Well, I suppose that completes our episode, though.
It does. So if you want to reach out to us and contact us, we're at weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter, X. And till next time, be kind. Rewind.
Eat some turkey.
Ham.